Okay, so good evening, guys. Welcome back. We will continue with our Git session. So today is and today. Okay, so guys, in our last session, that is a day five session, we had covered few of the stuffs, right? Like for example, we try to understand few of the Git related commands, right? Git options, and also like we try to even see like how exactly we try to execute some git commands, right? And for example, like how do you we moved the file from the working area to the staging area, right? And from the staging to your local repo, like how did we move the file, right? So all those commands, git command and its options, we checked it, right? And also like we also saw that you need to set this username and the email ID you have to set. So you have to use this command. So it's a one-time activity. After that, like once you set it, you need not to do again. So this is what pretty much we had covered, right? Few of the options, and we had did it actually, right? What we'll do today, we will try to reiterate some of the things again, whatever we did yesterday, with a few other stuffs, and also we will try to see. So guys, one more thing I would request that Git also you try to complete then and there itself. It means that once you start going through this session, so it's good that you're attending the online session. But after this, like if you want to go through the recording, please go to the recording and practice then and there itself. Try to finish this course, this topic as soon as possible. Don't keep it for pending for a long time. Okay. So because Git is very important, and everywhere, wherever you work in whichever tool which you work, right, Git is required, and all the Git commands and all you should be aware of. In interview, sometime in interview, they might ask some Git questions, right? And sometime they might not ask anything because, but they consider that the candidate will be knowing about the Git, right? So, so make sure that you know all the commands and all the options very well. You have practiced so much that you remember all those commands and options, and try to no, collect all the information, all important question answers before you go for interview, right? Because you cannot sit and go through all the videos to learn the Git one more time, right? We don't have that much time now. So once you attend the class, once you go through all the options and everything with the Git, right? Try to recollect everything. Try to do one time or twice, just to do any two times practice so that you are aware of it, and then like make a notes of all those commands and everything. Keep it in one place before you go for interview. Just scroll all those and like all those things what you have written it, so that you'll be able to recall everything, and that should be sufficient. Okay, you need not to really separately again update on Git again before you go for interview. Okay, don't do that. Try to finish it off this Git. It's a small topic, so we have to finish it as soon as possible. Okay, so now yesterday, guys, we saw that like whenever we want to proceed with writing a code, actually, right? Basically, we try to create one folder. In our case, I think I wrote something hello in yesterday session, and then like we saw that actually we created some files and everything. We play around with that with all the commands and everything, right? So let us try to reiterate few of the. So what we'll do, I'll come out from the folder and let me do one thing. Let me create one new directory, something like you have a git hello git, right? Let me just say hello again git something. I'll try to create one more folder like this. Okay. So get inside the hello again git, right? And here what happened that you need to basically you need to make it a git repo. Means you have to just first initialize it. You have to always run a git init command to make sure that that folder whatever you're working, right, that you have to initialize as a what, as a folder, as a git repository, right? So that's what we run this git init command. So as soon as you run it, you see that it has initialized this empty git repository, and you could see that it has created one dot hidden dot git as a hidden directory. It has created it because this dot git, it's a hidden directory which has many information about all the information about the your git repository. It maintains it. Later in some we will try to even understand about this, what is this git folder is all about and what are the contents. We will slowly get into it later, but right now just understand that when you do initialization, it will try to create this dot git folder actually. Am I clear, sir? Now, what we do basically, guys, we will try to create some few directories or few files over under this folder. Hello again, Git, right? We'll try to create it and let's see like what we are going to we'll do it actually. So whenever you try to work on the folder, basically we will tend to create some folders. We will tend to create some files and everything, right? So for that, like you can do one thing. You are already there in that directory, right? Again on this directory. Let me do one thing. Let me create some. Okay, and also dar. This is some two folders which you created, right? And when I do a dar, can you see here? You have two folders which you created. So what is it? Docs as well as what you have created, guys. You have created a src directory, right? Now the thing is that actually that for example, if you want to create a file inside the src directory, let me do one thing. Let me go inside the src directory and let me do one thing. Let me create a file, something new, in.py. Right. So whenever you see any file which is having .py as an extension, it's a Python script actually, right? Enter. So you created a file under the src folder, come out from the src folder, get inside the docs. There you can create one more file, new item, and you can just say .md file, something. So you created these two files, right? So if you come out from this, now you are into your main directory where in these two directories you have created a separate files. Under src you created a main.py and under your docs you have created the readme.md file actually, right? Now if I try to run a command git status, you will see that actually that these two folders, obviously under these two folders there are two files are there, but it is considering this as a folder. It is showing here as a folder, and it says that these two are under the untracked file actually, because it is not been tracked by your git actually, right? So the history behind these two folders within that they have files, right? That is still not been under any kind of a git history, hence it is showing as an untracked file, right? It means that your file still exists in your working tree itself actually, right? If you consider this, diagram, now first stage what we are having is your working tree. This is your working tree. Am I clear, sir? This is your working tree where src, under src you have a main.py, and under your docs folder you have a readme.md file. These are the two files which are there, and your file are still there within your working tree itself. Am I clear, sir? Right? Correct? Okay. Now, when you try to execute the git status, you could see that actually it is showing as a untracked actually. Now, what you're going to do, you said that Rajesh, I want to move these files from the working tree to the staging area actually. You want to move to the working to the staging area, and this is your staging area. So what you're going to do, you have to just run a git add command. When I try to do want to consider all the files which are the untracked, then always you try to do a dot. Dot means what are all the files which are there in your puzzle directory. Like here you have two folders, docs and src. Under this docs and src, you are having two files. You need to consider both the files, everything under the puzzle directory. Then use a git dot. Or else you say that I want to consider under the doc readme.md and under the src like what is it main.py. So you can even give this full path also. But since I know that all the files which are there under this path, I have to consider all the things. Better that you always just say git add dot and say enter. So as soon as I say git add dot enter, and if you run a command git, now you could see that guys, now your file is under staging actually, staging area, right? So now you can make out that earlier it was showing the red color, which was an untracked. Now it has been tracked, and now this file are both these files have been under your staging area. So both the files now under are part of the staging area now. Here. Right? Clear, guys? And now what you do that from your staging area, we know that Rajesh, we need to commit it actually basically. For committing it, basically what you have to do that you have one more area which we call it, one more stage we call it as a local repo. And how do you make a local repo? Basically, like you need to provide with the git command with the hyphen commit option. Sorry, you have to provide with the commit option, right? Along with the commit option, you have to even specify with the -m option, and then like you need to provide some message actually, some valid message. So what you do basically that I will just say git commit -m option, and then I'll do one thing for committing. I'll just give a short message actually. I'll just say capital C means commit. I'll just say C1 and I'll say enter. So now you could see that guys, you have committed it actually. Now if you try to run git status, it will say that you are nothing to commit. It means that your working area is tree is clean actually, nothing to be commit, everything is committed actually, right? And now you know that when I try to want to check all the history of whatever the commit you have did it actually, I just run a command git log command and say enter. You could see that the last commit which was done was a C1, which we did it, right? The first commit, and you could see that this is a commit ID. Okay, and your head is pointing to the latest commit. What is this head? We will discuss later, right? And who is the author, and what is the email ID, and what is the timestamp under which this first commit was done. And this is the message what you are able to see it, right? So while committing, whatever the message you pass, right, that you can able to see it when you are running the git log command actually. So till here we had discussed in yesterday's session, right? This is what we had discussed. Is it fine, sir? So now what we will do that, okay, Rajesh, now you committed an empty files, right? Basically this under the docs, what are the readme.md is there? That's an empty file, and even the src main.py, that's an empty file, right? It's an empty file. So let me try to do one thing. Let me try to edit some text inside this file. Okay. So for that, what we'll do, guys, basically, guys, in my system, I have installed the Visual Studio Code. I would request all of you to install the Visual Studio Code in your laptop. It is quite simple. You have to just say Visual Studio Code, Visual Studio Code download for Windows. Like that, if you try to type it, you will try to get the exe. Try to download that installer and install it. You are able to get it actually. Now from here, what happened, right? I need to open the Visual Studio Code because I'm under this folder. Now I have to start editing a file. So better I use some editor. So I'll be using the Visual Studio Code editor to edit all the contents of whatever is there under the SRC as well as on the docs. I want to do editing. So for that, what I will do, I'll just say code dot and then say enter. So you could see that actually it's going to open the Visual Studio Code. Am I clear, sir? It's going to open. So now under this folder, hello again git, right? You have these two folders, doc and src. Am I clear, sir? So now what I will do that I will go, I click on this readme.md. Here, what I will do basically, like I will just something coding practice text. I'm not really, no, I'm not really worried about what kind of data I'm just entering into this file. There are some kind of a data you can add into this file actually, right? So, and also they'll say that well documented something. Some text you have added inside this readme.md file, right? Similarly, what happened, right? Under the source, you are having main.py. Okay. Let me do one thing. Let me also try to create one more folder, right? For example, under the hello git, you could see that here you can create one more folder, new folder. So it is like a something like a right. So this is a test folder, but this test folder is on the doc. So better I'll do one thing. I'll try to move this everything outside. Okay, I moved it. So you could see that now you have a new folder by name test actually. Okay, test for is folder is there actually. Fine, that is okay. You created now test folder. If you go here, you could see that the test folder you created now, right? You created here, but actually you could able to see the test folder is created, right? So now, okay. Apart from this, what are the other things you have, guys? Let me don't think. Let me try to under the SRC you have main.py. Let me do one thing. Let me try to even add some text. Okay, something like I'll add something def of something add something, some text I've added inside this main.py. Don't worry about all the things whatever you did it. You just try to did some changes here. Am I clear, sir, till here? Right? Now the thing is that, guys, now you change these two files, readme.md and main.py, and you also created a folder. Now let us see the git status, what the git status say actually. If I try to do a git status here, can you see here? It says that this file readme.md is modified. It also shows you that there is a src main.py is also modified. But you see that actually I created one folder by name tester. But here in the git status, it is not showing anything about that status. So why? Because that git will not consider the changes for the directory. It means that it will never consider any directory. If the directory has any files, then only what happened, the git will consider the change on the files, not the directory. So the first thing is that actually, so in the notes actually, git considers changes in file, not directory. Suppose if you're having empty directory, git will never consider that, it will never manage, try to maintain any kind of a history for the directory. Right? Always Git will try to maintain any kind of a history, everything only on the files, not on the directory actually. So since a test is a directory, it never consider it as anything to be tracked by the Git, because Git will never track any kind of history just onto the directory. Git only try to check the history changes or something, track everything onto the files, onto the normal files, not onto the directory. That is the first point you have to always remember. Am I clear, sir? Is it fine till here? Okay, very good. Now you will say that, okay, Rajesh, I'll do one thing. I'll go here and under the main file, under the test, let me do one thing. Let me try to click on here and I'll try to create one file here under the test folder. Let me click test.py, something, test.py. So now what you did that you created a file inside the test folder. Now if you come over here and now again you try to do a git status. Now it will show you that, okay, there is one more untracked file is there. That is under the test, there is one untracked file is there, which is nothing but test.py. So now it is showing under the untracked state actually. Right? Before that, what happened? It never showed here. Can you see here? It never showed any kind of test folder. Now, as soon as you create any file, a new file inside the test folder, automatically what happened? The Git will started recognizing it says that it is in an untracked state. It means that it is still not been tracked by the Git. It means that there is no history is managed for this for the file which is there in the test folder, right? It just recently got created, right? So it will show it as an untracked file actually. Am I clear, sir? Is it fine?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. Now you will say that, Rajesh, I want to modify everything. It means that I have to move all this file from the staging area. I'm sorry, from the working tree to the staging area. So you have to always use a git add, right? Git add, you have to use it, right? So what you'll do, you'll come over here. Okay, I'll just clear the screen. I'll just say git add and I'll say dot. Dot means everything. What are the changes you have did it? Everything, please consider it actually. And say enter. Now again, you do a git status. Now you could see that all these files have been modified. You could see that actually under the docs, this file is modified. Under src main dot file, it is modified. Or and again test.py, a new file got it. So all these files are in the staging area now. So that's the reason you could see it is in a green color now. So can I do the commit now? Yes, sir. Do the commit. I'll just say git commit -m option and give something like this is a second commit, right? I'll do C means commit. So that is a message which I'll be using now. Okay, and I'll say enter. So now you could see that actually that if you do a git status, you could make out that there's nothing to be committed, right? But when you try to do a git log, you could see that actually it will show the history of all the commits what you did. First commit is done, which is number C1, and the second commit which you recently did, right? This is the second commit. And for every commit, you will get some kind of a fixed length of this alphanumerical number you'll get. This is a fixed length, we say. This is nothing but your commit ID, we say. We call it as a commit ID. Am I clear, sir?
Yeah, yes. Clear.
Great, good. Now the thing is that now, okay, fine, it's all good, everything is working fine, good. For some reason, assume that you say that Rajesh, whatever the docs you have, right? This doc folder, what you have, right? I did some mistake, man. I don't really need all these files, or I don't need this folder at all. I don't want this folder at all. So what you will do here, you will come over here, okay, under this folder, just do a right click and just try to delete this folder, enter folder. See, you remove this docs folder. So now what happened, right? Now, do you think that the Git will try to show any kind of a status when you delete any kind of a folder or any file? Git again will Git try to track all these details? Yes. Whenever you add any file, whenever you do any file, whenever you add any new file, whenever you try to add any, modify any text inside the file, or as you remove that file or you remove the entire directory, whatever you do the operation, Git has to keep track of all the changes, whatever user does it, whether you are adding any file or whether you're removing any file, right? So now when you try to do a Git status, now you could see that it says that this docs readme.md file has been in a deleted state. It means that you have deleted that folder, entire folder actually, right? So this itself is a change itself. This itself is a change. So again, whenever you're doing any changes, the same process applies. It means that you need to move that change from the working tree to the staging area, and from the staging area, you have to commit to the local repo. Even though when you're adding a file, when you're removing the file, whatever you do, you need to follow the same process of doing, because again, what happened, whatever the changes you do onto that folder, right, when you are working on the Git, right, it has to keep track of all changes. Who will keep track? The Git will keep track of all the changes actually. So whenever you try to add something, when you delete something, you delete the whole folder or a file, anything. Yes, all those are part of the changes itself actually, because your Git has to maintain history of what are all the changes what user has did actually. Am I clear, sir? Now, if you come over here, you will say that okay, I remove this directory, Rajesh. Fine, this still it is there in my working tree. I have to move these changes to the staging area. Yes, how do you do it? You will just say dot. Good. Now what you will do that, Rajesh, I want to commit it. So what you will do is basically you'll just say git commit hyphen m. I think it is what is it actually? It is C3, right? Yeah, C3. Third commit. I'll say enter. So again, you try to do a git status. You could see that actually there's nothing to be committed. Everything is clean. If I try to do a git log, you will see that there are three commits out. And the third commit is the one where you remove the directory. Which directory? Docs directory, right? So as per this one, as per this, you could see that docs directory doesn't exist because the entire Git, it is showing you the third commit actually. Information about the third commit, it is showing you. But whereas in a second commit, right? You and in the first commit, in these two commits, basically C2 and C1, you had that folder docs folder. But where in the third commit, that doc folder has been removed completely actually. Am I clear, sir? Right? Now you will see that Rajesh, I want to just check it out, like what is in the second commit or in the what's the first commit. So yesterday we saw this command, right? Git checkout and specify this second commit which you did, right? This is a commit ID. You just try to give this entire commit ID and say enter. Now you could see that you are switched to the second commit actually. So in the second commit, the doc folders was there. Can you see here? The doc folders has come back. It means that this is the second commits information. It means that at the time doc was there, right? And you want to go back again, what you do? You will just say git. So now if you see that your head is now let was between any kind of a commit ID with the help of a git checkout command. Okay, and specify that commit ID, you'll be able to move. You'll be able. You're moving your head from whatever the location was pointed to that particular commit. It is going to move it actually, right? So in the pictorial diagram, right? So what happened right here? We are having a first commit. This is the first commit C1, right? First commit, you try to move to the second commit that we call the C2, right? So you moved from the first commit to the second commit, and from the second commit, what happened, right? You try to move to the third commit actually. This is the third commit, right? Right? And from the second commit, you try to move to the third commit. So now what happened, right? There is something known as the head is there. Head will always be pointing to the latest commit actually, like this. Will always be pointing to the latest commit, what is there actually. Now, whenever you try to do a git check and specify that commit ID, so basically what happened, right? You're trying to move this head actually. So earlier what we did, I check out to this one. So try to move to the second commit. So head will now point to the second commit. Now, whatever the history which has been maintained for second commit, right, that you will be able to see it. So later tomorrow you say, Rajesh, I want to move back to the, I want to move to the first commit. Yeah, you can move to the first commit. So you can traverse this head anywhere within this commits with the help of a checkout command actually. So wherever you are, but when you try to do a git checkout and say master, it will make your head up pointing to the latest commit what your user did it. So latest commit was C3, right? So your head will start pointing to the latest commit. When you try to do a git checkout and the master actually. Am I clear, sir? Right? So that's what yesterday I said, right? Like whenever you are working on this Git, actually, always you should have this kind of a graphical representation in your mind when you're working because it will help you a lot in understanding in a better way when you're trying to learn Git. That is one thing. And also I showed you there is something Mermaid live editor is there, right? If you remember yesterday I told you, right? There's one editor, a live editor, right? This like this, right? And if you go to the first link, you could see that, and it will be, and if you go to the Git actually, so you could see that actually this is the kind of a, like graphical representation you get it, and it is good that you try to practice it actually, right? With this actually, right? For example, if you try to do a commit actually, right? This is the first commit. Okay, it is giving randomly some number. So there is one command is a commit, if I remember ID, and I'll just say C1. This is the first commit. You could see that you get this number. Similarly, you did the second commit like this, C2, right? Similarly, commit C3 like this. See? So right now what happened in a serial way, you have committed C1, C2, C3, like how you check it here, right? Like C1, C2, C3. This is in a serial. It means that you are actually sitting on.
Rajesh, can you hear me? Rajesh? Rajesh? Uh, we are not able to hear you, Rajesh. Your voice is not audible.
Now?
Yeah, now it's okay. But in between, your voice is not audible. It's breaking.
Krishna and everyone. So now is it clear?
Yes, now it's fine, Rajesh.
Man,
But
this is
before it's breaking. Yeah.
yeah, this is pathetic, man. What is happening like this? If the voice was drops like that, no, it was very, you will get irritated actually. Sorry for that, guys. I don't know. There is some network glitch or some problem with. Yeah, yeah, yeah. My voice is too low. Yes. Now is it fine? My voice? That's the reason I always try to shout in the class. You would have seen that I'll always be shouting because I feel sometime, right, no, somebody should not complain, say, okay, your voice is very low, or we're not able to understand or not able to hear it, right? That's the reason I try to always raise my voice. Guys, now it is clear. Can I proceed now?
Yes, Rajesh. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it is good that you like you immediately you yeah, you put the message. I'm not saying that don't put in the chat message, but I would request you to immediately unmute yourself and then saying that Rajesh, we're not listening anything. So then and there itself we'll correct it. Otherwise, no, I will not. Basically, what happened, right? This chat, what happened when I'm explaining the class or not, I will not. I'll not be seeing frequently these chat messages. So hence, please try to always unmute and speak with me always, right? Whenever you see any, if there's any down happened in the networking or something happened, right? Please inform me between itself, in between. Worst case, I'm saying that things are going on. Assume that I didn't realize that something going on and I didn't realize that there is some kind of network problem or voice alert, immediately call me to my WhatsApp number or directly make a call to me. So I will get to know that okay, something happened actually. I will receive your calls. Okay. Clear, guys?
Yeah, okay, Rajesh.
Okay, good. Now, okay. Now let's see few of the things. Okay, let us see few other things actually. Okay, let me go to my uh, okay, let me go here and what I'll do basically, guys. Okay, I'll do one thing. Mm, I'll go to the src main.py. Okay, you added this some definition added. Don't worry about this code and all. Okay, I just try to forget to add one thing. That is always it should be hash bank slash usr slash env something python. This is interpreter path. I missed it. Okay, I added this line here under the src main.py, under the src folder main.py, right? So it means that you have modified again this main.py, right? So if you go over here and you know that if I try to do a git status, you will see that it is in a modified state, right? Now the thing is that now you say that Rajesh, I modified it fine. I did this changes everything, but I want to revert it back. I want to restore it back. Or else assume that here the changes you have did it here, it is still in the working tree, right? So what you did, you try to do some modification to the main.py, this one, right? And later what happened, right? You try to did a commit sorry, you try to add to your staging area. So this changes, this modified changes what you did, right? You added to the staging area. And now, okay, now this under this staging area, whatever the changes are there, right? That is there in the staging area, right? Now you realize that no, Rajesh, whatever I did to staging area, I don't want to actually put it in staging area. I want to restore it back. I want to revert it back actually. From here again, I want to revert it back actually. From here again, I want to revert from the staging area. I want to revert back this to the working tree. How we are going to do that? For that, guys, what happened that there is a simple command or the options which is provided by Git is nothing but the restore option. We call it as a restore actually. There are two types of restore is there. I mean, one is that restoring from the staging area, restoring from the staging area to the working tree you want to restore. That is one thing, that is one restore. And the second restore is something like, Rajesh, you changed the file in the working tree, you have not yet added into staging area, but you want to remove the complete changes from the working tree itself. You want to do the changes, that is also a restore only. It means the restoring means you are completely removing the changes from the working tree itself. From this stage itself you want to remove it. So that is also we call it as a restore. So that's the reason there are two restores are there. One is that when you want to revert back the changes from the staging area to the working tree, that is one type of restore. And one more restore is to change or remove all kind of a changes what you did in the working tree only. So that what are the changes you did in the working tree, that everything has to be reverted back or it has to be restored it back actually. Right? Now the thing is that, guys, actually, right now the thing is that if you have modified it actually, now you have modified it. If you do a git status, you modified that file. Now you say that, Rajesh, I want to push these changes to the staging area. So what we'll do, I'll just say git add dot, and again I'll just say git status. So now you could see that it is under the modified. It means that it is showing the green color, means right now this file is under the staging area. Okay. Now the question comes, Rajesh, I want to restore back these changes actually. So from where you want to restore back? You want to restore back from the staged to the working tree like this. According to the diagram, you want to restore from the staging area to the working tree. So for that, what happened, right? They themselves, they give this command actually, guys. You could see that git restore -fn shared, give that file name. So can you just check it out? I'll just say git restore -fn stage space src and main.py. I'll say enter. So you could see that you have restored it back. When I do a git status, can you see here again that file is in a modified
state. It means that you have moved that file from the staging area back to the working tree. Right? So what are the options they're showing here, right? Like for example, use git restore hyphen stage. I'm using the same command with the same option to restore it back from the staging area to the working tree. Am I clear, sir? Okay. Now you say that, Rajesh, I don't want to have this. I want to completely remove it, man. Like for example, here what happened, right? You added this whole line. Now you say that no, I don't want that change at all. I want to completely remove everything. So what you will do that here, you will just say git restore again one more time, and then specify the file name here. Right? Now you do a git status. Now you could say that everything is clean. Now if you go back here, you could see that whatever you added, right, that everything will be has restored back. So under main SRC, right, I added, right, all those things are restored back. So this is what we use this restore many times in our, when you're working on the Git, right, there is some requirements are there where you need to restore back to the previous, you want to restore back all the changes. Then in that case, we use this restore command, restore option a lot actually. Right. So let me write here. So restore, git restore comes in two forms. So one is that staged actually. So it means that actually to move the changes from staging area to working tree. Working tree we say or area. The second is a normal only we say. It means that to clear the changes from working tree itself. Am I clear, sir? Okay. Okay. Now what you will do that, okay, we'll do one thing, we play around few more things actually, okay. So what you do basically like, we will go to the src main.py. Here you have added certain things, okay. Let me do one thing, let me add one more thing, def of something, subtraction, PSS. Some changes you did it in this under the src main.py. Good. And under the test actually here, let me add a few changes actually here under the test under there. So there what I will do that I'll just say def something test underscore add. So you did the changes in both this file main.py and the test.py under this respective folder. Am I clear, sir? And also what you did that I will try to create one file actually. Okay, under your here I'll try to create one file, something, what is it, readme .txt file, something. You create this file. Sorry guys, this file, it went inside the src. I want to make it outside here. So just try to pull it here so that that file will come outside your folder actually. So you created this readme.txt or readme.md file. So now what happened, right? There are two files which have been modified and there's one more new file which is nothing but the readme.txt or readme.md file. So this will be in an untracked stage, right? But whereas this two will be in a modified state, right? So if you go back here and if you try to do a git status, so now you could see that these two files in a modified state because already this was in a tracking, but this is a newly created file readme.txt which is under the untracked stage actually. Right. So now my requirement is that actually you say that Rajesh, what are these files are there at modified files? Only these two files has to be pushed to the staging area, not this file. I'm not really interested to move this file from my working to the staging area. I don't want to do that. I want to only do, I want to only push this modified to the staging area. So the use case is that adding only modified file or modified files into the staging area. Right? So for that, what you're going to do it? Like for example, if I come over here and if I try to do a git add dot, if I enter this command, all the files which are there, right? Everything, even readme.txt, everything will be pushed to the staging area. But I don't want to do that. I want to only push this modified one. Then what we do, we use a git add with a -u option. If you do it, actually, only it will check only those files to the staging area which are under the modified, actually, right? And say enter. So now when you do a git status, now you could see that actually got these two files have been pushed from your working tree to the staging area, but whereas this file, it remains as it is. It remains as a untracked file, actually. Right? Sometime it might require saying that, okay, Rajat, there are some 100 files are there in my this one. I try to modify only 4 files actually out of some 100 files. I want to only do a commit of those 4 files only. Rest remaining, there could be many other things are there. I don't want to really consider all those other files. So in that case, what happened? You use this -u option actually. Am I clear, sir? Is it fine? Okay. Now, what are the changes I did actually here? From here to here and all, I want to really, I want to really restore it back. I don't want to really do any kind of changes actually. For that, what I will do here, I'll just say, what is it? Git. Don't worry about this command. We'll discuss later. Git reset hyphen hard. Let's check. Okay. Yeah. Now, if you go here, yeah, your change back, py, nothing is there, readme, nothing is there. Yeah. So restored back all the changes, whatever you did, right? That means that you resetted back everything. Fine. Okay, sir. Now, right, you change all those restored back. Right. Now, if you go over here and if you try to do a git status, right, only readme.txt file is there, which was created actually. Rest remaining everything you have resetted, right? Nothing is there. Okay, let it be as it is, that one. We need not to really worry now. Okay. Now what you will do, basically, you will say that, okay, Rajesh, I'll do one thing. Again, I will try to do some modification to this file. Let's see. I'll go back here and I'm just thinking what to add it. Okay, under the main.py, let me add the same thing what I had did earlier, like hashbang /osr env python, something like that. You will add these changes into that main.py under the src, right? Under the src. Now, if you come down here and if you try to do a git status, see here, it says that this is under the modified, but this is under the untracked actually. Right? One more use case. Now you say that actually that what you will say that actually, Rajesh, I want to only modify, I want to only update this file. So obviously we have a command was a git add -u command, right? Git -u will only try to do the modification only to this file. Am I clear, sir? Git, you have a git, when you do a git add -u, right? Correct, right? If I'm not wrong, git add -u, it will change this actually. Right? But the thing is that you will say that, Rajesh, I want to do it, but assume that there are 4 or 5 modified files are there, but I want to only do changes to only this main.py src. So then in that case, what you can do that, you know that this is the source and this is the file. What you can do that instead you can get inside this folder, src folder, enter, and I'll say ls. You could see that this is a file you are having which has been modified. When I try to do a git status here, it will show that, okay, what are the modified? You will say that only this file only I want to change into the staging area. Then I will go inside this src directory here. I'm not under the main folder. I'm inside the src. Here what I'm doing, I'll just doing a git add dot actually. When I try to git add dot, only this file will be pushed from the working tree to the staging area. I'll say enter. Then I do a git status. Now you could see that this is under the modified actually. So it means that if you want to individually do some files, you want to change the status from the working tree to the staging area, you can get inside that folder and also you can run this git add command. It will work actually. It's not like that you have to always do all the commands sitting under the main folder or the main directory. No, you can even go to the individual folder or individual directory and there also you can run the git commands. It will support actually. Am I clear, sir, till here? Right? Okay, good. Same thing, like if you go over here and if you go to the test.py, here you try to add the same thing, def of test underscore add, right? And I'll say pass. Same thing, guys. If I try to come over here, again, I try to do a git status. So now you could see that it is this showing this as a modified actually. It is showing this as a modified, right? Now the thing is that what you will say that Rajesh, uh, it is suppose assume that actually that uh, everything, all it has to be changed. Everything it has to be changed. Always assume that actually, I'll take one more thing. Yeah. Now what happened? You are under the SRC. Now I'll come out from the SRC. Now when you do dir, you could see that you are having this SRC readme.txt and everything. You did changes to the under the test. You did change, right? You did the changes. When I do a git status, you could see that actually that you are modified under the test.py and even the readme.txt is still it is under untracked only. Now assume that if you're going inside the test folder, right? Here also you can do a git add dot like that. So that only this file test.py, which is under modified, it will be moved to the staging area, right? But you will say that, okay, I'm sitting here, Rajesh, but I want to modify everything. Whether this file or whether this file, everything, even the tracked, untracked, everything will, I have to modify it. I have to move into the staging area. Then in that case, what you do that, we use a command, the git add with the hyphen capital A option. When you try to do git add hyphen capital option, everything, guys, whatever this file is there, even though you're sitting inside the test folder, you are not only modifying, you are not only moving this file from the working to the staging area, as well as even this file also you are making under track and you are making this file to move into the staging area. So when I try to hit this command or execute this command, now you'll see the status. Now if you do a git status, now you could see that all the files are under the under the staging area. Am I clear, sir? Right? So what is the command we did it? Adding only modified files into the staging area. What the command you do? Oh, sorry, I already wrote right here. We use the command git add hyphen u with the hyphen u option. Adding all changes to the staging area. You are sitting somewhere else, then you can use a git command add command with the hyphen capital A option. Right? Or else you say that Rajesh, only with respect to that folder only I want to do it actually. So what you do, adding only changes with respect to that current directory. So in that case, what happened, right? You will get inside that directory, cd to that directory, and then you do a git add dot. Like this, you do it actually. So that only that file which is there in the particular directory, only that itself you are moving. I mean, you are changing from the working tree to the staging area, right? Like that. Am I clear, sir? So once you have did all the changes, now you know very well that I want to do a commit. You will come out from the test folder. Now what you do that, you just do a git status. Everything is a modified. You will just say git commit hyphen m. What is it? C4, right? Commit 4, and I'll say enter. Right? You do a git status, nothing, everything is clean. When you do a git log, you could see that there are 4 commits you have made: C1, C2, C3, and C4. And your head will be pointing to the latest commit what you have did it here. Right? Okay, good. Now, okay, so far good that we understood some of the things. Now, guys, what happened in the real time? What happened, right? There are certain things where you will see some of the extra files. Say, for example, I'll take an example. Now, assume that you are building a Java code, right? You are building a Java code. Assume that you are building a Java application, right? And what happened, right? You already have a Git repository. You're already having a Git repository. Git repository you're already having, where that Git repository is basically used for managing uh, the source for the application, source of Java application. Fine. That's what you are maintaining that repo actually. Now the stuff is that, guys, actually that when you have the Java application, right? Java application. And what happened, right? Basically, right? This Java application, what happened, right? You will try to clone that Java application. Say, for example, I'll take an example. Okay, let me do this. Let me go to the Google and I'll just say GitHub simple Maven project, actually, something. If you try to search for it, you could see that actually there is something like a simple Java Maven app, right? This is the Git repo. If you click on it, this is your source, the source code for your simple Java application, right? Right? This is a simple example. Like I'm just saying that this is a source of your entire application, simple Java Maven application, which is written in the Java language. How do you verify it whether it's written in Java language? There's an SRC folder there. If you click on SRC folder, you will see that there is main java.com app is there. So this is the path. Click on it. You will see that there is a file by name app.java. So this is the Java code actually, right? So basically what happened, they try to maintain a directory structure where you could see that there is one folder will be there on the SRC. Under this, you will find all the source of your Java application here, right? Now, the thing is that, guys, what happened in the real time when you try to work on some application which is code specific actually, like for example, you have a Java application and for the this is a Java application which is nothing but your what is it repo simple. Go here. I try to copy this whole thing. I'll paste it here. So what is it? This is your repo. This is your GitHub repo actually. Now the thing is that, guys, this is a simple Java application. To build this Java application, what happened, right? You have already have a Maven build actually. You have a Maven build tool already installed. Build tool already installed it actually. So for example, I'll do one thing, guys. Let me come out from here. Okay, and I will go over here, and you could see that actually that you can go to the code. You can just do a copy of this, just clone it actually, come over here and then try to do a git clone. Don't worry about this command now. As of now, guys, just try to see what I'm doing. So you are cloning this application. So once you're cloning the application, you will see that there you will get one folder by name simple Java Maven. So if you do a cd to simple Java Maven app and I'll say dir, can you see the whole source code of it, everything, whatever you are here having, right? The same thing here, right? And now what happened, right? When you want to build that application, so I'll just say mvn command. I think mvn is already there in my install. Let me check if I'm having or not. Yeah, mvn clean is there. Let me check. Yeah, mvn clean is doing okay something. I'll just say mvn package. Now you are just building that application. Don't worry about all these commands. We'll soon learn all these commands, Maven build, everything, right? You're just running a Maven build to build your package actually. And you could see that it has built a package. But while building a package, guys, there are so many unnecessary files and folders have been created. Like for example, readme.txt, license.txt. You could see that .gitpod.yaml file, .git attribute. There are so many other unrelated files are getting created while building the process. When you're building a process, now you said, Rajesh, all these files, right? All these files, right? .git pod.yaml, license.txt. This should not be a part of your Git repo. So it means that when you are managing everything, that post build activity, it will create, definitely try to create a lot of extra files. But that I don't want to really make under my Git repo. I don't want to really make under track under Git repo because these files are getting created as a process of build process. Similarly, when you're trying to build any kind of a Node.js application, when you're trying to build any kind of a .NET based application, there are so many other dependency files are getting created for you to build that application. So those dependency file, definitely you don't want to really make under the Git repo at all. It means that those are all some extra files. No? So what you have to do basically, you have to ignore all those files. It means that your Git has to ignore all those files. Then how you are going to do that actually? How you are going to achieve it, or how you are going to ignore all the files or the directory which you don't want to really consider under the Git actually, right? So what happened, right? What is our requirement, guys? We need to, or we want to explicitly what is it? Ignore some files or folders actually under Git actually. How we are going to do that actually, right? So for that actually, basically what happened, right? I'll do one thing. I just created it, but okay, I'll do one thing. Okay, I'll come out from this. Let me do one thing. I'll go to the Git. Hello again. Git. Okay, no. I'll do one thing. I'll create one more new directory. mkdir. I'll just say git underscore. What is it? Practice something. I'll create a new folder like this actually. Git underscore practice. So I created a new folder, right? Quickly, I'll get into inside this git and git practice. Okay, and I want to initialize as a repo. So for that, I have to run a git init command. So you try to make it that folder as a repo itself, right? Git repo itself, right? Am I clear, sir? Right? So now, okay, now what you do basically, like you will try to quickly create some directories. Okay, under this, let me quickly try to create some directory like mkdir bin directory, okay, mkdir src directory, okay, mkdir test directory. You have created mkdir bin, mkdir test, src, and mkdir test folder. So if you do a dir, can you see that these three folders you have created it, right? And also let me know then MK also create a mkdir docs folder actually. Right. So now what I will do, Rajesh, let me open with the Visual Studio Code, this Git practice, open this. So you opened this folder now under your Visual Studio Code. Now under the bin directory, you will try to keep some executable. Like for example, under the bin, I'll try to create an executable something test.exe. I'm not sure, like I'm just saying. So this is an exe file under the bin, it is created, right? Under your docs, actually, what happened that you will try to create a file, something like a readme.md file, something. Under src, you create one file, main.py. And also one more file you create under src, main.pyc, something. Okay. These two files under the src you created. Under the test folder or the test folder, you will try to create a test.py. Okay. Under the test, one more file you create. What is it? Under the test, what is it? Test.pyc, something. See, you have created so many files and so many files, and you have 4 folders actually. Bin is there, doc is there, src is there, and test is there. Is it fine, sir, till here? Now, if you go here and if you try to do a git status, now you could see that these 4 folders are showing it is under untracked state. Am I clear, sir? So now what happened, right? You will say that, Rajesh, when I am trying to use this actually, that I don't want to really consider this bin. I don't want to really consider this bin because bin is something where it maintains all the binaries. I don't want to really make the bin folder to be tracked by the Git. I don't want to be under the Git actually. But this folder exists. This folder exists. You have to just ignore this folder. Similarly, what happened under the src, there is a main.pyc file is there. This file also should get ignored. I should not consider it when I'm working on a Git. Similarly, under the test, there is a test.pyc file is there. Even this also be ignored. I shouldn't consider it under the Git. So these 2 files should be considered as well as the whole bin folder should be considered. Then how you are going to do it? So basically what happened, guys, by default what happened, right? You will be creating one file by name dot git ignore, right? So here what you will do that you will create one file like this actually. Under the git actually, you will create one file by name, what is it? Dot git ignore. right? I'm sorry, it is created in here. I want to move this file to here outside the folder actually, so that this file resides here. See here, this is the file which is there. Dot git ignore, Gignore, ignore. So under the dot ignore, what you will say that I should not consider the bin folder. I should not consider the bin folder. So you already created this file. So now if you come here, now if you do a dir, can you see here guys, dot git ignore is created actually, right? When I try to do a git status, so can you see earlier what has happened? It was showing the bin folder. Now you could see that it is not showing the bin, because this is a special file dot git ignore which will ignore. If you want to ignore many of the files which you don't need it actually, then you have to create this file by name dot ignore dot git ignore, and there you can add all the things which you want to ignore, which the git should ignore it actually. Similarly, what you say that Rajesh, I want to ignore the main.py under the src, under the test you want to remove, what happened, you want to ignore the what guys, you want to ignore the test.pyc actually, right? Now what you're going to do, right? So you will say that, okay, Rajesh, under the docs, I have some folder is there. Like for example here, under the docs, the readme.md is there, very good. And under the src, there's a main.py is very good. Under the test, I have a test.py is very good. So now what you will do that, you'll individually try to add on it. Like for example, how I'll do, you'll see. I'll just say git status. Now bin is not considered. Okay, fine. Now what I will do that, I'll just say git add. So under the docs, there is something as a readme.md is there. Yeah, this I have to move from the working tree to the staging area. Yes, I'll do this. Now git add. Under the src, there is a main.py is there. This I want to move from the working tree to the staging area. Fine. Now I'll say git add of. Under the test, there is something like test.py is there. This I want to move from the working to the staging area. So under this one file, I move to the staging area. But when I try to do a git status, can you see here? All these three files have been moved to from the working to the staging area, but remaining this strike under the src, there is a main.py is there, pyc is there. Under the test, there is a test.py is there. Again, what happened? These two files I have to ignore. I have to ignore. It means that the git shouldn't consider at all. Even it is showing here under the untracked file, I shouldn't even show it under the untracked file. Though in that case, what you're going to do, guys, you will go directly to this dot ignore file, and what you will just do, simply you will just add on one thing, was a something, anything star dot pyc, all these files should be ignored actually, like this. Right now, if you, after adding this content in the, now you come here, now you again try to do a git status. Now you could see that actually it will not consider those files. See, earlier it was showing, now it will not consider those files at all. Am I clear on this, sir? Guys, did you understood?
Yes, Rajesh. Yes.
Sounds interesting? Yeah.
Yeah.
You say that, Rajesh, if suppose assume that I removed all the content, you removed all the things. See, you remove everything from the dot ignore. Yeah, come back here. Obviously, when you do a git status, now it will consider all the things, right? Right? Everything, bin, everything it will consider now. See, it will consider everything. Right? So since you removed the content from it consider everything. Now when you try to do again when you try to restore it back, now again you go back here, now you do a git status, now it will not consider. Right? Good. Right? So in that case, what you have to do that, Rajesh, we want to explicitly ignore some files or folder under the gate, under that. So then we use the file by name dot git ignore file. Right? Now, if you go back to your simple Java Maven, this is the GitHub repo, right? If you go here, can you see there's a file named .git ignore, right? If you click on this file, see, there are so many things other which it want to ignore. Like for example, .dsstore, there's some file which will get created that has to be ignored. Target folder has to be ignored. pom.xml.tag file should be ignored, right? Maven timing property file should be ignored. So all the files which you want to ignore by the git, right? You can put everything into the .git .git ignore file. You can just keep it everything so that your git will not track all these files actually. It will not consider it actually. Fine, guys. Now, what happened, right? Like usually what happened when you are working in the real time, usually what happened, right? You will be working on so many tools. Like for example, you'll be working on Terraform tools, you'll be working on some Maven build tool or MS build tool. When you're trying to build the application by using Maven build tool, or when you're trying to create an infrastructure by creating a Terraform tool. So these files and all, what happened, right? As part of the execution, they try to create many extra files or many extra folders. It will try to create it actually. So all those have to be ignored. Say for example, when you're building it, even some kind of a log files are getting created. Even those log files also should be ignored actually. Right. So how do you understand, how do you check it out, like which are all the files or which are all the things which has to be get ignored? For that, what you can do, that you can go to the Google and I'll just say git ignore 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 git ignore ignore. If I'd say Atlassian. So can you see here, guys, from the Atlassian website, there's a .ignore file is there. Ignore all the files. So just click on it. You will be able to see that which are the track, which are untracked, which are ignored files actually. And if you come down, there are given, like while compiling the Python, there are a lot of .pyc file will get created, that has to be ignored. .class file is there, that has to be ignored. .o have to be ignored. Okay, files generating a runtime such as .log, .temp, this has to be ignored. Hidden file something like .dstore, thumb this has to be ignored. So they have given all the files which has to be all those unnecessary files which has to be ignored like that. And if you come down, they would have given all the git ignore patterns actually. So how do you maintain it? Oh, under the logs, debug.log, foo.bar, so many logs are getting created. You want to ignore everything, you can just say */ logs like that. You can maintain in the .git ignore file actually. Same thing like this actually. So you could see that they have given a big list of actually. Right. So as I said, right, almost most of all the popular language, right, what they do basically, like they will try to generate a lot of files which has to be ignored actually, right, which has to be like Python will, while working on Python will generate so many unnecessary files. Oh, that have to be uh, ignored. Java will, while compiling a Java code, right, Java will generate a lot of unnecessary files, log files and all have to be ignored. So like that. Now the thing is that, like Rajesh, how do I know that what are all the important fields? Because there will be a very big list, right? Because I don't know. So in that case, what happened? You can depend upon the Google, where you can get the everything the online. Like for example, if I do a git ignore online. So can you see here gitignore.io? Just click on this link. All right. Here what happened, right? You could see that you want to generate the .git ignore file, right? Like you can do it. For example, when you're working on Visual Studio Code itself, Visual Studio Code itself will generate so many unnecessary files actually when you're working on it. So I want to check like which are all the files which are created by the Visual Studio Code. Okay. And also I know that I'm building on Java application. I'll be working on the Maven tool. So let me check what are the unnecessary files which are generated by the Maven tool while building it. Okay. My project also has something to do with the Terraform. Let me check with the Terraform what are the other files which has to be ignored. So I'm searching for all these tools and technology which I'm using in the project. I want to just check it out, like what and all I have to be added into the .git folder, .git ignore folder file actually. So when I try to click on its create, see here, it will generate the big list of what are the unnecessary files are there. So what I can write, what I can do that I can just right away copy this entire thing like this, right? Go to here and just try to paste this under the .ignore like this. So that what happened, right? All this, for example, for your Terraform .tf vars .tf or .json .override tf, all these files will be ignored. If the files are getting generated when you're running a Terraform commands, right, you can ignore it when you are trying to work on when you try to push the code, every changes to the GitHub. Before you push it, actually, you want to unnecessary, you shouldn't consider all these files. Then you can put everything under the .git ignore file actually. Right. So for that, guys, you will get all these things. If you go over here, you will say that, Rajesh, I don't want to consider, for example, I'm working on a Python. Okay. There are many unnecessary things other which I don't want to consider on the Python. Same thing, I'm using the Visual Studio Code, right? I want to ignore many of the files actually. So I'll be working on something like a MS build actually. MS build. Uh, MS build is not there. Huh? Okay, Node.js, Node actually, this, right? So click on create. So it will show you all those unnecessary files which are generating when you are using those tools actually. So just copy paste this whole stuff and put it under the .git ignore file. Is it fine, guys? Am I clear, sir? Now I hope that you understood it, right? And here you come over here, you are still under the git practice. If I do a git status, so these are all into the staging area. Yes. Now what I will do, I'll just say, I'll just check it out. Nothing is there actually. I didn't do commit, right? I'll just say git commit -m, because these are completely new things actually. I'll just say C1, enter. You committed it. I'm gonna do a git log. You could say this is the first commit you did it in the new folder, which is the git practice, right? This is your first commit actually. When you do git status, nothing is there. Everything is clean actually. I mean, this will show as it like it's untracked actually, right? Untracked actually, because I have to add everything under the .git ignore, right? This files everything. So let me do one thing. Let me go over here. Let me remove all these things and let me ignore the bin and let me ignore the star.pyc, right? And then again come to the git status. Now you could see that actually. So this will, this will always be there. Git ignore. Okay, it will be there. But other thing, remaining other things and all, right? It has not been tracked now. Am I clear, sir? Okay, guys, I'll take another 10 more minutes, then we'll wind up a session. We'll finish session. Okay. Okay. Is it fine if I take another 10 more minutes?
Yes, Rajesh. Yeah.
Okay, good. Now, okay, guys, I have one question. You please try to give me a solution or try to give me some kind of a solution for my problem actually. Okay. What is the problem? Say, for example, assume that I have my laptop here. Okay, I'll take a laptop clip art. Okay. Uh, this is my laptop actually. Very old laptop which I'm having. And basically, what I do basically is that I have a laptop. Now I'll say that, Rajesh, in my old laptop, I have kept some folders actually, very important folders, like for all my marriage photos, marriage videos, and all, right. Like I've kept many of my folders actually, very important folders where I have kept a lot of videos, everything, all my marriage photos, everything I have kept inside this under this laptop actually, right? It is very important for me because this has a lot of photos, lot of documents, so many things are there. All are old memory files actually. These are all memory. So I'll keep this folder name as a memories actually. All my sweet memories, right? I'll keep it. Now assume that, okay, this is a old file. I mean, this is a old laptop. Okay, got it. So I was keeping all this. Now assume that actually you got to know, okay, your laptop is very old lap. Now what happened? You want to purchase a new laptop now because you have to really upgrade yourself. So you'll go to the market and try to purchase a new laptop now. You'll try to purchase a new laptop now. So once you purchase a new laptop now, right? This is your new laptop. So this is a new laptop. Now what you will do that you will try to copy these entire files or a folder, whatever you have, right? With in this old laptop, you try to copy this and you'll try to keep it here actually in your new laptop. Got it? Now the question comes that actually that I how do you check it? How do you assume that this memory folder, right? It is something 100 GB. This is 100 GB folder size, and it is having more than some 7,000 files. I'm just taking some number, right? The same thing you copied here also. I mean, the same folder, which is the 1500 GB of folder, the same thing you copied here in the new laptop also. Right? Am I clear, sir, here? Right? And this folder, whatever the folder you have, right? Inside that memories folder, you might have many of the other folders, right? Like, for example, you might kept some folder by name videos where you have kept all your marriage videos, right? My marriage videos I've kept it. Something I have some kind of a photos or pictures actually I've kept under the photos folder actually, right? Similarly, there are some documents are there very important documents I have maintaining, so I'll make it as a docs actually, right? So these are the three folders which are there inside this memory. And this whole 100 GB is all not but combination of these three folders within that 100 GB, and totally there are 7,000 files are there. Now my question is that, guys, actually when I try to move this folder or try to copy this from the old laptop to the new laptop, my question is that, like, how you're going to say that all these files and folders, everything has been copied properly or not? How do you verify or check it out? How do you verify and check it out? That is my main concern actually. So even this folder memories is the same thing. Even whatever you are having this inside this folder, right? All these things, videos, photos, or document and all, right? You will find here the same thing here also. You'll find the same folder structure here. But my question is that how do you check it out, right? Whether all the things whatever is there here, the same thing is also present in the into the new laptop. How you will confirm it actually? So
By looking into the properties, the size of the file, folder, entire folder.
but 7,000 files are there. Do you compare from here to here? Compare. It will take days together to compare all the files, right?
Not comparing. Initially, I will see the size of this folder
Okay,
before
but
copying.
size of the size might, okay, this suppose assume that this video size is something 50 GB, right? Even it will here also it will show 50 GB. But how do you authenticate that all the files what is there under the videos folder exactly are the same? Sometime what happened, right? Some file might be little small actually, okay, but some file might be corrupted, right? In that, but still it will show as a 50 GB only. So with that, with only with the file size, can you with the only that folder size, can you able to exactly tell that what are the file contents which are there under the videos? Exactly the same contents are there with the same size, with the same thing. No, right?
Yeah.
You cannot just do a right click and onto the folder and just check the size and tell that okay. It's not possible, right? You cannot really say like that. Actually, I'm saying. Suppose that some file while copying it, it might have got corrupted. This file was in the proper state, but while copying it, it got corrupted. But when you do a right click onto the video folder, it will show 150 GB only. It will show. So with that, I cannot really say that that everything is fine actually. Then how you are going to verify or test it actually? So guys, how do you verify it? Basically, the answer for this question. This is, by the way, this is one of the entry question they ask it, right? So how do you verify or how do you say that actually? This we call it as a checksum. There is something known as a checksum with that. There's a concept as a checksum actually. So checksum basically what happened, right? This checksum works on top of your hash algorithm actually. It works on the hash algorithm. Like for example, suppose assume that you are giving some input. So you are giving some inputs. Some input means some input texts you are giving actually. This is the input text you are giving something. If you are giving an input to something to the hash algorithm, there are various hash algorithms are there. If you're giving to the hash algorithm, what this hash algorithm will do that this hash algorithm will give you an output of something known as a fixed digit actually. Fixed digit, right? Some fixed size of digit, it will give you the output actually. Now, what is this hash algorithms are? There are various different hash algorithms are there, like MD5 hash algorithm, SHA1, SHA256, SHO512, SH250. There are so many hash algorithms are there. Now the question is that, like, how do I check it out, guys? Which are the hash algorithms are there? So what you can do that you can just say online hash, what is it, calculator, right? You just search for this. You will get some very good online hash algorithms. Like for example, you can go with this on an hash calculator, click on this link, right? It will open you the hash algorithm. So here you could see what are the algorithms you are. You are having MD2, MD5, SHA, SHA 224, 256, 384, like this, right? There are so many hash algorithms are there, right? Now, for example, I'll be using MD5 itself actually, right? Assume that this is one of the algorithms, right? But this is not really used much in an organization. We use SHA1 or SHA 256, but assume that I'm using this hash algorithm, MD5 now, right? Now, you say that, Rajesh, I want to generate the hash for some text. Say, for example, I'm just giving a text something like hello, right? And I'll say hash this. Can you see here, guys? You got some big alphanumerical number, right? This is the output you got it. So what I told you in the diagram here, that when I'm giving some inputs like a text actually to the hash algorithm, which is MD5, it is actually generating some fixed digit. This is something like a fixed digit it is generating. So I'll copy this and I'll try to keep it in my notepad. Let's see what is it actually. This is some fixed number it's generating, right? But if you see here, I've given all are lowercase. Assume that I'm just keeping, okay, now what happened? Along with the hello, I'll give one space here. One space I'm giving and just generate and just check like whether it will generate the same number or some other different hash it will generate. See, even for space also, it is considering as a character and it is generating a totally different hash value. So this and these two are not same. They are completely different. We can make out with that value only, right? Let me, sorry. Right? Or else what happened, right? Here what happened, I will remove that space. I don't want. Assume that this is a text h hello, right? Instead of small h, I'll give capital H. And let, sorry, capital H, or else let me try to type it. Capital H and all other are small. Let's see whether it will generate the same hash for this or some different hash it generates. See, it is totally generating again a different hash here. Right? So what happened for every change, whether it's a lowercase or uppercase, right? So what happened, right? It is generating some different hashes actually. Now, what you can make out from here that Rajesh, suppose in case I'm giving some inputs actually, like here, if I'm giving some inputs actually, for the same text actually, same text, right? If I'm giving to the some hash algorithm, it generates some fixed digit actually. Okay, the same text, what happened, right? If I try to give the same text to some other user, if I try to text the same text, if I try to send the same text file or something to the other user through WhatsApp, he will try to download that file. And if he takes the same text and he runs an hash onto that using the MD5, it will generate the same fixed digit actually. So it means that whatever the text which I have, right? If I'm giving the same thing to the other user, the same hash value will get generated. So in this way, guys, what happened, right? What happened? You will be able to say that actually whatever the text, what you're transferring, right? It is exactly the same thing. Like for example, assume that you're trying to download the some Ubuntu ISO image, Ubuntu operating system. You're trying to download Ubuntu ISO image. You're downloading it actually. So Ubuntu official website, they provide this ISO image actually, where you can go and download it. But the now point is that when you have downloaded the whole Ubuntu ISO image from the official website from the Ubuntu itself, how do you say that actually this is the correct exact same file or same download file which was provided by the iOS by the Ubuntu distribution itself? How do you say it? Right? Or some kind of a hacker, what he has done, he might have used the same ISO image what is published by the Ubuntu, but along with that, he even would have added some virus also, and he would have given in that site. So what we do basically, we try to download it, thinking that this is an official website. Whatever they gave, it's authenticated. Everything is fine. There's no issue like that. We think, right? But how do you say that actually that, okay, after you try to download it, the same file what the vendor has given, that same file you have downloaded? Because guys, when the Ubuntu distribution, when they gave the ISO image, along with that, they'll also give the checksum also. They'll give some fixed digit or a big value they'll give like this. So now what happened, right? Once you download it, what happened after downloading it, So after downloading the image, what you run, that you try to run the checksum on that image, downloaded image. Now you will get some fixed value, fixed number you're going to get, or fixed digit you're going to get. So you start comparing this fixed digit with what the official Ubuntu distributor, right? They have given that fixed digit, right? When you try to check this and this, if both are same, it means that yes, the file authenticity is correct. But what are the file which they have given for downloading? It's the same file which I have downloaded. Similarly, when you try to give this file or you try to copy this memory folder from here to here, you have this video folder, photos folder, and doc folders. What happened, right? You will try to run a checksum onto this video folder. You got some fixed digit. Okay, that's a fixed digit value. Now what happened, right? When you try to copy this whole folder from here to here, you try to run a checksum on this CKSum or the MD5 algorithm onto the same videos folder. You got some fixed digit value. When you try to compare the same fixed digit value here and here, if you saw both are same, it means that the entire video folder is proper, it is correct. Okay, it means that all the files which are there under the videos folder, it is exactly the same actually. Now the next what you do, you try to run an MD5 or a SHA algorithm onto the photos folder. You try to got some fixed digit. Now the same checksum you try to run onto the digit. Now there is a difference between here to here because both are not matching. Now you'll understand, okay, there is some problem with this photo folder actually. Okay, here it is showing some value, but here it's showing some value. There's a difference between these two. Or then you'll identify, okay, there is some missing files is there. Okay, some file which has been missing here, which is there here, but it is not here in this new laptop. Am I clear, sir? Did you understood the whole context? Right? So it's not only one text actually. It's not only one text. As you could see that this is some fixed digit is generating. Assume that I go to here and I will try to that download that whatever that ignore file. See, you try to copy this whole file, whole content, big file, and come over here and try to copy this whole file. See, big file. If you try to generate the hash, it will generate the same fixture. It is immutable, guys, whether it's a single line, one line, or two character, whatever might be. This, whatever the hash value which is generating, right, it will always be fixed value. See here. See, can you see? It's a fixed. See here, what are the number of characters are there? The same number of characters even for this file is also there. So it is always a fixed digit, I'm saying. It doesn't really depend upon the size of the text, what you are hashing it actually, right? Am I clear, sir? Right? So now what happened? What the same according to here this diagram, you will say that Rajesh, I want to run an SHA SHA onto this by using SHA SHA 1 algorithm. I will be generating. So what are the fixed number what you're going to get it or fixed digit what you're going to get? I'm going to compare the same with here with the SHA actually. So after copying it, I'll take the same memory folders and I will try to run an SHA onto that. That is SHA1 or whatever. I will get some fixed number. So I'll start comparing these two numbers. If both are same, it means that the entire, whatever the file content which is there, the same content is also there even here, even in this new laptop also. Like this way, we will try to compare and check it actually. Am I clear, sir? Right? Now, why I told all these things? What was an intention behind explaining all these things actually? So guys, what happened, right? When you try to go here, when you try to do a git status, it is not showing anything. When you try to do a git log, you could see that after doing a git commit, what happened that this commit has generated this some fixed value. So how the git has did it? Because git is in turn using this SHA SHA1 algorithm. So git is using SHA1 algorithm to generate the commit ID. Right? So this is some fixed digit value. Can you see it? Rajesh, I'll do one thing. I'll try to use an SHA1, SHA1, okay? And I'll remove it and I'll try to say hello and I'll try to generate what is the hash value. You got some value like this. I'll copy this one. I'll try to keep it here. Right? And also whatever you are having this commit ID, right? I'll try to copy this whole thing. This is a fixed digit, right? Try to copy whole thing and paste it here. Can you see both this? Sorry. Right. See, can you see, say, guys, both are fixed value. See, the length of this commit ID, what is there, right? It's the same length what the SHA1 algorithms have generated, hash has generated. So it means that what happened, right? Whenever you are running whenever you are executing any kind of a commit, actually, what are the commit is that this is a SHA1, a SHA1 algorithm, it enter uses to do it actually, to create this like the fixed digit. So what is this commit ID is all about? Okay, how exactly Git uses this SH algorithm? We will be discussing about this in tomorrow's session. Am I clear, sir? So in last class only I gave a hint that Rajesh, this is the commit ID which is there. Can you dissect this? Can you just check it out what exactly in turn this commit ID contains? Yeah, we will try to do it. There are some commands are there to check it out. What are the contents which are there in that commit ID, right? And how to use it and why they are managing all these commits, everything with the help of a SHA hash algorithm, which it in turn uses SHA1 algorithm. So we will discuss about these things in tomorrow's session. Am I clear, sir? So guys, I hope that today you learnt a lot of things, right? I would request you to practice a lot with all these things. Try to complete whatever I'm covering, right? Please try to complete then and there itself, right? Don't delay in updating or practicing about the Git actually, because Git, you should be very clear. Your concepts, the commands and the command options, right? And many of the conceptual things, it should be very clear with all of you, because in interview, as I said, right, they might ask some few questions, right? Sometimes they might ignore, they might not ask you any question related to the Git, because they don't have that much of time to ask, right? But sometime what happened, they might ask you about the Git also. Mainly what happened, I see some 4 or 5 areas are the which they ask it actually. One is the Git branching strategy, which they ask it actually. One is that what is a Git merge conflicts. How do you resolve the Git merge conflict? That is one obvious question which they ask. What is Git rebasing? They'll ask you. What is Git cherry picking? They'll ask actually. What is a Git large file? They'll ask you. Sometimes they'll ask what is Git large file. Okay, where do you use it actually? So certain things which are something like a corner case related questions they might ask just to check it out whether you have a knowledge or not, right? Right. So it is always better that you answer for all such questions, so that now you're going to gain the confidence, right? The interviewer will consider you as a serious candidate, because he might ask you some corner question also. So it should be, if you're answering everything, then he will be very serious on his thing that okay, this fellow knows something very well. Right, I cannot take any kind of a risk for him. So better you not happen now. See the interviewer, what happened now, guys? Many times what happened, the interviewer will try to dominate onto you actually when you're giving interview. So when any person, an interviewer, they dominate on you, right? They will try to bug you more, and they will try to ask very question. Sometimes you would see that candidate becomes very much nervous. You might have seen that he knows the answer, but since what happened, the interviewer has dominated on him, right? What happened? He will tend to forget many things when the interview is going on, right? So what happened, right? He'll try to break your mental this one actually stability. So don't get breaked. Well, that it is all because of the lack of practice or lack of knowledge. Then only what happened? They'll identify that point and they'll try to bug on you. But when you're very strong, if you're answering for every question very thoroughly, you're answering it and you're giving some deeper answer for it, what happened? Then what happened? Now you are giving intro, you will dominate onto the intro actually. And that is what exactly we needed in the intro process. Intro process, the interviewer shouldn't dominate on you. You have to dominate on him actually. If that happens, right, then it means that you are clearing that interview. Right? So that is what it should happen, guys. So practice so much that actually that you remember many things, you know the concept very well, and obviously you'll be able to answer in a better way whenever you face such questions during interview process. All right. So with that, I'll stop the session, guys. I hope that you liked today's session. So let me know if you have any questions, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. No? Okay. Guys, one more thing I want to tell you. I'm sorry to inform you that tomorrow morning, I think I'll not be able to take AWS class. I have to go outside. Let me see if I'm canceling anything. I mean, if I'm not going it actually, then I will take the class. Otherwise, 90% I feel I will not be able to take the class. I'll be taking a class tomorrow evening only. I will be continuing the Git only. Let's see, like if I'm not taking the AWS class tomorrow is Friday, right? Then I'll take on Saturday morning and Sunday morning I'll take actually. And as we discussed in today's session, right, let us try to have a class early morning. So if I'm not taking tomorrow, what I will do, I'll take a class on Saturday morning, but Saturday I will expect you to join at 6 o'clock morning, right? 5:45 or 6 o'clock. Let us first join on 6 o'clock. Let's see how the participants join at 6 o'clock morning. So 6 to 7:30, I will take the class on Saturday. And if all of us join 15 minutes before, right, I will try to take a class at 5:45 morning. So 5:45 to 7:15, it will be a very good time for all of us so that we will be completing many of the things. So tomorrow, just bear for one more days, guys. I'll not be able to take the tomorrow's class. I'll try my level best to take the class. If not, then Saturday morning I will take the class, AWS class. Is it fine? Okay, guys, chalo then. Thank you. And some of them, they had asked me a question on Rajesh, how many classes it will take me to complete on Git. Guys, I'll take another max to max. You can consider as something like 10 sessions more, 7 to or 8 to 10 sessions more. I will try to take to complete this whole Git actually, because this Git is a very very deeper concept. We try to dig in more and more. You'll be learning a lot of concept actually, right? To be very honest with all of you, you can complete the whole Git in just 5 hours. All main important things, just command. This is our command, this is option. You can straight away finish everything. Along with that, some good concept also explain. For example, Git strategies you can explain, branching strategies you can explain about Git stash and unstash, Git cherry pick. All important concepts you can cover all those things in 5 hours actually. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to really take everything in 5 hours. I want to little bit elaborately explain about the Git. I have to even explain about the Git server, Git client, how they do it. What are the merge conflicts? How do you see the merge conflicts in the real time when you're working with the repos? Actually, you might face a lot of things. So how do you overcome from that? Everything. So many other things are there. We will be discussing. Doing practically everything. When you do a practically when you're doing practically, right, having one machine where the server is set up and in one machine where you're acting like a client actually or as a user, how do you face all those merge conflicts and how do you overcome from that? Those things and all we will discuss, guys. It will be quite interesting for us to see all these practicals. So once you understand all those practicals very well, once you feel like, okay, Rajesh, there is something good thing which I'm learning here and that, okay, I will practice. Once you will start practicing, right, whatever I do, the same lab exercise you do it, right, then you'll get a tremendous confidence. So that is what I need from all of you, that you need to practice by your own. Once you go to the video, once you see all the practicals, what I do, now it's your time to do the same practicals actually. Clear, guys? Fine. Thank you, guys. With that, I'm stopping the today's session. Let me stop the recording.